Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hormone Helper podcast. I'm Coach Andrew, your hormone helper from Fit for All Fitness. I personally coach over 1,600 men and women to help better understand their hormones so they can lose weight and get their metabolism back on track. With this podcast, you're going to hear from me and my special guests about everything from metabolism to thyroid to weight loss. And we even talk a little bit of sexy time as we chat to spread more knowledge thick like butter on your hormones. If you're ready to learn, I'm ready to share, so let's do this. Hello, everyone. Hope the day is starting off well. I'm so looking forward to making this podcast episode talking about what one of my clients refers to as the smoking gun. You know, it's funny because when he mentioned this to me during one of our conversations, I thought to myself, what a beautiful way of summing up a feeling that I think a lot of people who have like a long history of health challenges feels. So this smoking gun feeling he refers to is this. Sometimes in life, you generally put a large amount of effort into trying to make something work or improve, and yet, no matter what you seem to try and do, you can't make progress in that one aspect of your life. So you think that there's got to be something else to it. So to him, he was referring to his weight loss because prior to starting with me, he had, in his words, been overweight his whole life. That's what he said. So for some context as to kind of the experience that he had, this guy, he works really freaking hard and he excels literally at everything. He's an amazing father. He runs a very successful business. His relationship with his partner is phenomenal. I love his wife. And he spends his limited free time literally giving back to the community and running soccer teams and little charities and such. He's a great human being. The only thing that keeps coming up over and over for him again is his weight challenges. But just like he tries with everything else in his life, he also has tried many things with weight loss. And he's not alone in a story like this. Maybe for you listening, you may have struggled with weight or struggled with digestive issues your whole life. And you always feel like your stomach is tight and you can't eat food that you love. It could be that you've maybe struggled to gain ground in your career, hoping for the right things or opportunity, but never seeming to find the right clients, or maybe you're getting passed up on different promotions that take you to the next level. Or maybe you're someone who's healthy, but you can't seem to find a partner or lover for the freaking life of you, and you've been swiping left and right until the app runs out of people. Regardless of what that situation is, it's safe to say that like him, almost everything else in your life probably has no challenges. This one simple thing that keeps appearing over and over again in your life is your main challenge. It's the thing that keeps coming up month after month, year after year. And it's taking you to this point where you think, okay, where's the smoking gun? There's got to be something else to it. Now, I want to share with you an example from my life because it's a recent one. Literally, I've been going through this the past couple of months. My knees this past year have been especially bad. I went from running 10K 3 times a week and squatting really heavy to within a year, I have huge daily knee pain and they're aching so bad, I sometimes am worried that I'm never going to be able to run again. Now, when I experienced this, I immediately went to work because I'm an action taker and I started to look for the smoking gun. I was saying to myself, there's got to be a thing that's preventing me from running. Now, I'm super healthy. I believe I do all of the right things every day. So I'm like, there's got to be something else other than food, other than nutrition, other than my exercise, because I'm doing all of that stuff. So I paid $3,500 to get a full body assessment at a private clinic. They did ultrasound of my knees and my hips. And I thought for sure I probably have bone spurs or some type of knee damage from all my activity, something crazy. Because truthfully, I do stretching all the time. I work out every day. So surely the only explanation is something that's outside of my control. That is what the smoking gun is. We look sometimes for something that is outside of our control, hoping that once we see and we find it, that our problem is going to be immediately solved and our answers to the challenges that keep coming up over and over again in our lives are just going to fly towards us so we can finally be free of this challenge. So naturally, I'm so pumped. Do this, really expensive assessment. I'm all in on it. I'm excited to wait for my ultrasound results. And guess what? My knee pictures show that my bone structure, my bone density, and knees and my range of motion, as well as the joint cartilage, they're all perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with my knees structurally whatsoever. And I immediately go, shit. So, what do you think you do? What do you do when you are so confident that the smoking gun exists and then you realize there isn't one? And here's the thing that I told my client, the thing that I believe, I told this to myself as well, that made him completely turn his mindset around and actually start to see results with his weight loss and starting the journey. I told him this: when we look for the smoking gun, we give power over to something that is outside of our control. The moment we say that something is outside of our control, then there is nothing we can do or try to fix the challenges that are in front of us. Now, I know what you're going to probably say. You're probably going to say something like, but Andrew, like, what if your client has a thyroid condition that might explain his weight gain? Or, Andrew, I'm sure you've come across people who have stomach issues that are a result of a hormone change like menopause or PCOS. Maybe that's their smoking gun. Maybe they just haven't found the smoking gun yet. Here's what the truth is: for every challenge that you're facing within your health or in your life, I can find an exact person in this world who has your same challenges, and yet they have been able to see and achieve the results that you haven't gotten or seen yet. I've seen people who are in full blown menopause that sleep full nights, they don't sweat like crazy, and their weight is completely stable. I've seen people who have thyroid conditions like hyperthyroidism, who have stable weight, who have steady and good energy. And they have full control of their condition, no issues in terms of their metabolism. Maybe a little bit of medication managed. I've seen people who come from families full of overweight challenges. Mom's overweight, dad's overweight, grandpa and grandma's overweight, everybody. And yet, that single person is able to lose weight and doesn't use things like their genetics as their smoking gun. So here's what I want you to know right now: you have full, complete, total capability to achieve and get anything you want in your life. All you have to do is consider. Consider that maybe the steps that you thought you were doing right already isn't right. Like me with my knees. Consider that you don't have the knowledge you think you do this by yourself, like I thought I did. And consider that you have to go back to basics and start the process all over again to achieve what you want. So, from my knee perspective, after my ultrasounds and images, I immediately went to a therapist, like literally the next day. And I told them the issue. I said, hey, look, I have knee pain. I thought I knew what I was doing, but I guess I don't. So, although I'm in the health industry, I want you to treat me like I have never done activity or movement before. I told them to book me in with the same amount of sessions, just as they would a whoever, 65-year-old who's had a knee replacement. I want to go through the same process. I've been going twice a week. I'm fully open to the process, so I follow it 100%. And although I know information, I'm pretending like it's my first time because I trust in the people and in my team that I work with to lead me to success. Because here's the reality: what I was doing up until this point, it clearly isn't right. It's not working. Now, you know what? Turns out my knees, they're due to hip tightness and due to ridiculously tight quads on the outside of my leg. That's it. Super simple. Which means even me, I wasn't doing the right stretches that I thought that I needed and that I was doing. There's no smoking gun. There's no smoking gun in your life. There's no thing that's preventing you from getting the result that you want. There's no thing that's getting you from seeing the results that you want in your health. And that's what I want you to get from this episode right now. Even if you have something going on with your health that you think no one else has, you have one of the rarest conditions, no one else has seen it before. Even if you do get diagnosed with a condition, you can still see results with things like weight loss and IBS and hormones. You might just need to partner with someone who has a fresh set of eyes or re-walk you through the basics or do something different that you haven't done before. Now, even if you think there's an awesome special reason you haven't gotten that great client or you haven't built a business, keep looking for them. Keep looking for that client. Keep looking for the person you want to work with. You need to consider that you might not be looking in the right place or that you might not be attracting the right type of people with your message. Then hire a coach, work on your message, then go after it again. Or even something from a relationship perspective, even if you keep botching dates or having rocky conversations with your current partner, get a counselor, partner with a relationship guru, work on emotional communication, and you have to try again. Try again, because the only time you fail at something, the only time you don't get the result that you want in life is when you accept that it is out of your control and you give up. You say, I'm done. Now, me personally, I am so grateful that I have challenges every day. I want to search for the result. I want to learn more knowledge and keep growing. There is so much joy, I think personally, in overcoming an obstacle. I mean, think about this. Like, even like what boxers, even boxers. Why do you think boxers like to box? You think they like to being punched in the face literally all the time? You think they like being knocked out and losing teeth over and over again? No, they don't. They like the challenge. They love the training every day and pouring effort into something to then see their skills grow. I can promise you this. Think about someone right now in your life who has a special talent or a skill that you think is amazing. Maybe you know a great painter, someone who plays the piano and it makes you go, damn, I want to take up an instrument. Or maybe you come across someone who looks great in a suit, full of energy, and they basically like pour confidence from them. Think about this. They had their own challenge and they struggled to get that. They failed multiple times. They worked out till failure. They practiced every day. They stumbled over notes. They painted their first picture and it looked like shit, or maybe it looks like these pictures that go for millions of dollars. Probably the same quality, but it was utter random lines, didn't look good. I promise you this. The only smoking gun that exists in your life is you. You pull the trigger on things that you want to happen. And that's what I told my client. You're giving way too much power over to something that you don't even know exists. And where you point your energy, that barrel, where you pour your love and your power, that's where your results go. You need to focus your shot. You need to keep both eyes open so you can see your goal. And you need to keep shooting and making adjustments until you hit your target. The only smoking gun that exists in your life is you. And the moment I told him that, I just saw him completely light up and he goes, "You're right. I need to stop looking for the reason as to why I can't succeed in this. I need to stop looking for the explanation as to why it won't work. And I need to start looking for the evidence as to why it will work. I need to take ultimate ownership, because a lot of the times our challenges in our life, whether it's with our health or with ourself, they're not as complicated as we believe they are. We think that if we make our challenge super complicated, that it justifies our struggle. That's a victim mindset. That is a victim mentality. My life is so hard, which is why I can't do X, Y, and Z. That's not true. It's not true. You can have anything that you want in your life. And the vision of the smoking gun, when he said that, I knew immediately what he meant. Because there were a lot of times in my life where I looked for something external to blame. Before I found Lorna and I was on a dating site for a year, bad date after bad date, literally could not get people to respond to messages, no show to dates, stood up for tons of restaurants. And I was like, you know what? It must be the app. Maybe the app's just connecting me with bad people. It wasn't the app, because I found Lorna on the app. Then I thought to myself, it must be something about me. Maybe I'm not lean enough. Maybe I don't look good enough. Clearly wasn't that, because Lorna tells me all the time when I saw you on the app, and I'm not tooting my own horn, she was like, damn, why is this guy here? Right? I kept on thinking it was something else. Maybe I just don't know enough about having conversations with people. Maybe it was this. But what I needed to consider was that I was getting in my own way, that I wasn't patient enough, that there were times where I wasn't showing up 100%. Maybe I wasn't doing it the right way. The moment you think you know everything is the moment you know nothing. There's a beautiful quote about being forever the student. There are no masters in the world. There's only students. You're always learning, because the moment you think that you are a master of something is the moment you lose the ability to learn in that area forever. And think about that. People are forever students. That's what we should always consider, that we don't know enough, that we need to learn more, that something needs to be there. That's why things like mentors and coaching and schooling exists, to learn from others who are doing what we are doing. This is actually why friends and family members, why communities are so powerful. Like, even watching our group coaching community, I love the fact that people are always learning from each other. And someone on a group coaching call can be like, wow, that person has the same challenge that I do at home, but here's how they're handling it. And I've never handled it that way. So let me see if I can do that. I love that, because what it shows is, in that moment, someone goes, there's no smoking gun. I actually have more power than I think I have. Growth is a lot about being super clear and recognizing 100% that you can actually make all the changes and see all the results that you want. Now, there's one caveat to this. You need to consider, and considering means you need to consider everything. I consider I'm wrong all the time. What if I'm wrong? What if I didn't look at this the way that I thought I needed to? If something is not working out the way that I've envisioned it, I go, I must have missed something in terms of considering. You need to consider, especially from a health perspective. Consider, maybe you're not doing the basics right. Maybe you don't have as much information as you thought you had. Maybe, like, my client that I'm working with, maybe there's not a special type of way to do this. Maybe it is simpler than you think it is, and it's not super complicated. Just try it. Here's the beauty about anything that you want to accomplish in your life: the only way that you fail is when you give up. So if you don't give up, you've never failed. I make mistakes all the time. Clearly, I'm a health coach. I didn't even know what was wrong with my knees, but that's not my specialty. And to pretend that I have all the tools, to pretend that I have all the support, I didn't at the time. So, what was the first thing I did? I got an assessment to make sure that I ruled out everything. I hired the right people. So that way they were like, hey, here's what you need to consider. And I said, take me from step one. Don't assume anything with me, because repeating the basics is literally a staple of life. Like, people who look the most disciplined, people who are the most successful, people who see the most results often just do the basics better than everybody else. Wake up at the same time every day, go to bed at the same time every day. Do the same non negotiables daily. Have weekly routines. Plan weekly. Whatever it is that they do it consistently. And it's basic. And this is why sometimes, you might be scrolling through social media, or you might be looking and listening to a podcast or a channel, and you're hearing like so many complicated steps. Or you might hear some like crazy disease or some random condition. You're like, maybe that's me. Ah, Really? Like, you don't need to do any more complicated things in your life. And that's the beauty about it. You can just do it simply. Simple is sustainable. The best machines, the best technology, think about it, that you have ever owned is typically technologies that are so simple, they literally can't not work the way intended. They just function perfectly, right? Think about it that way. Simple is sustainable. So that's what I wanted to share with this episode today. And a huge thank you to my client who really inspired this episode, because I think, and this is actually maybe something that I was thinking about, is actually having my clients come on a couple times a year and just share things that they've learned through this process and through this journey. Because again, you can learn from anyone, virtually anything. So hopefully you got some great value from that. That is all for this episode, my people. Wishing you lots of love. Go out, crush it, be your own smoking gun. Love you lots, and hope to have you listen on the next episode. Catch you later. Bye. Well, it seems I'm all out of info juice for today. That's all for this episode, and thank you so much for listening. Please leave a raving review for me if you've learned something good, and make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode. Now, if you're in the mood for some more great content and tools to get your hormones on track, why not check out our free Facebook group and the blog on our site? We do amazing weekly trainings in our group that me and my wife call Tea and Teachings, that give good tips for anything hormones and metabolism related. It's also a great community where you get to share your goals and success with like-minded people just like you. I'll make sure to drop both the Facebook group link and the blog link in the show notes for you. Or if you're ambitious like me, the name of the group is Weight Loss and Balanced Hormones. It'll say Fit for All beside it with a picture of me. So come and join us and have more fun.